after doing the deep dive on Joann's and finding out that Joann's is like 60, I think it's like 67 or 69% owned by a private equity group, and things obviously, probably could be better at Joann's, you might be able to question how well does a private equity firm run a sewing or quilting or craft brand? Like, are they well equipped to do this? Like, what is the deal? And then I saw an article that I just found very interesting. So let me pull this up here. 2 more brands have recently been acquired by a private equity firm. I know you're all like, growing in or whatever. All right, so let's read this. This is from PR Newswire. So from what I understand, pretty much any company can submit press releases to this website so it can kind of get published or people can find it. And here's the thing I've been finding out about these private equity firms is that, like, I've never heard of these. Again, I'm not really in the private equity space. Obviously, I'm literally here in my house in Florida, like, just chilling with you guys. So this is clearly not my wheelhouse, and I'm not really in these social circles. But the more I'm finding out about the sewing industry, the crafting industry, a lot of big businesses involved. It's kind of like how we're finding out that, like, BlackRock owns all these single family homes and stuff. You're like, what's up with that? So this is very interesting. So it's a St. Louis-based private equity firm called WillSquare Capital. And then below it, there's like a whole, like, that's the thing. There's all these like shell companies and like different branches. It's very confusing. I'm sure it's done for tax reasons or liability or something. But they have a portfolio company called Tech Holdings, LLC. Never heard of it before. And they have completed the acquisition of Aero Companies, LLC. And I was like, is that the company that makes the sewing machine furniture? And it is. All right, so it says, has completed the acquisition of Aero Companies, LLC, Aero Sewing, a category leader of branded workstations, storage solutions, and related accessories designed specifically for quilting and sewing enthusiasts. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed. Based in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, Aero Sewing provides exceptional value through product innovation and world-class customer service. The company's modular, space-saving, and ergonomic solutions increase customers' comfort, enjoyment, and time spent on their craft. Aero Sewing sells through a nationwide network of loyal dealer partners and its website. So here's a quote from the CEO of Tech Holdings. I am excited to welcome Aero Sewing to our growing family of quilting, sewing, and crafting brands, said Renee Thomas Jacobs, CEO of Tech Holdings. Our organizations have a mutual passion for developing unique products and innovative solutions for a shared customer base. Together, we can offer even more inspiration to our combined audience of crafting enthusiasts. Aero Sewing represents a highly complementary addition to the Tech Holdings platform, said Andrew Scharf, director at WillSquare Capital. We believe this acquisition unlocks new opportunities across the Tech Holdings portfolio of brands and meaningfully advances our market leadership position. Aero Sewing is the second acquisition made by Tech Holdings under WillSquare's ownership following the addition of June Taylor in July of 2023. That's the brand that makes a lot of different sewing notions. So I was like, interesting. About WillSquare Capital. WillSquare Capital is a St. Louis-based private equity firm based on acquiring and growing lower middle market businesses in the Midwest and Southern United States, with an emphasis on business services, niche manufacturing, distribution, and technology companies. The firm is currently investing out of WillSquare Capital Partners Fund. I mean, this is just like, that's a mouthful there. So, what does everybody think about that? That's interesting, and I looked a little bit more into, okay, I guess I'm going to skip this next article because it's behind a platform. All right, so I was like, okay, Aero Sewing, it's the Aero Sewing company, right? And this is Aero Sewing. A lot of us know this company because they make furniture and storage stuff for the sewing and crafting community. So I was like, this is interesting. I don't know if this was like a family-owned company or like obviously a small business before the acquisition. But, I wonder how this is going to change. Again, I don't know businesses-wise how well they're doing. You know, for all we know, maybe the owners wanted to retire and ended up selling it to this private equity firm. I have no idea. But I've never ordered anything personally from Arrow Sewing. I know it's a very popular company for storage solutions. Like, the reason I haven't purchased anything from there is because the stuff seemed like kind of expensive. Like, check out some of these prices. Like, this is not inexpensive. This is not budget-friendly furniture. Look at the sewing cabinets, $26.99. Again, this is like $2,700 for this. Now, you do get quite a few things, but that's a lot of money. That's kind of a lot of money, in my opinion, to spend on sewing furniture. The other thing about this company that I was like not sure about is it kind of seems like from the pictures and the the product information I've seen, I don't think this is like real hardwood, is it? Like, if you own any Arrow Sewing furniture, let me know. But it looks like it might be like the particle board or MDF type material and not solid wood. So that's another reason why I'm like, I don't know if I would be interested in this, because, I mean, I own a lot of MDF, particle board, IKEA furniture, but I bought it way cheaper than this. So, again, I don't know. I'm just a little wondering about the quality of this stuff. They do have good reviews, I've seen. And the other thing was, when I went to look at reviews of the Arrow Sewing products, for the most part, I only found influencer content and not real customers. So it was like somebody that was an Arrow ambassador or somebody that got the stuff for free. So I wasn't really able to find a lot of like online videos that were legitimate reviews where someone purchased it. So I don't know about this stuff. I don't know. I just like, look at this cutting table for $800. Like, the table I'm using right now, my husband made, and it was like even less than $800, and it's huge. So if I purchased this from Arrow Sewing, they probably would have charged me like $5,000 or something. So I don't know. The reviews are good. I'm a little bit hesitant to pay or want to pay for a lot of money for furniture that's not hard, like not actual wood. So that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know. Seems okay. Again, I have nothing against this company. I'm just really, like, I've seen a lot of ads and I've seen it around. I just, like, these prices are a little bit high for me, and I really can't justify paying this much money for sewing furniture. That just seems like a lot of money to me. So if you have an opinion on Arrow Sewing or have personal experience as a customer with the products, let me know, because I'm curious. Like, is it good stuff? I honestly have no idea. And yeah, I don't know. The other thing this reminds me of, you know, that dream box, that it's like that piece of furniture that's like the big box and it like opens up and stuff. That also seems like insanely overpriced for what it is. And the only reviews I can find are sponsored, like, blog content. I have not seen a single Dreambox like review or feature where it was not like a gifted product or where it wasn't sponsored. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. I haven't wanted to get into that kind of thing because I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of money to spend without, I would want to do a lot more research into it, and I haven't been able to find a lot of really helpful stuff. So I don't know. So interesting move that Arrow Sewing is now owned by this private equity firm. And here's another, I found the release for the June Taylor acquisition. So let's take a look at this. All right. So this was from August of 2023. Will Square Capital expands quilting and crafting platform through acquisition of June Taylor assets. That's a very notable brand within the sewing realm. Will Square Capital announced that AccuQuilt, so AccuQuilt is within this Tech Brands private equity firm. And they have, so AccuQuilt acquired June Taylor, a leading designer and marketer of innovative quilting, sewing, and crafting products. Terms of the transaction were not disclosed. Since 1961, June Taylor has been developing unique solutions for enthusiast quilters and sewists. June Taylor is well known for its problem-solving rulers, pressing tools, consumable notions, and wide assortments of sewing kits that enable crafters of any skill level to create high-quality projects with ease. The acquisition allows AccuQuilt to expand its reach and strengthen its position in the industry with June Taylor's reputation and complementary product line. I am delighted about the opportunity to grow June Taylor as part of the AccuQuilt family, said Renee Thomas Jacobs, CEO of Tech Brands. June Taylor's brand and products are a natural fit with AccuQuilt. We look forward to inspiring our customers with many new and innovative solutions as a result of this combination. We are pleased to add, this again sounds like they basically kind of did plug and play with the other press release. I don't know. We are pleased to add June Taylor to the Tech Brands platform of brands, said Andrew Scharf, director at WillSquare. I'm sure he's super excited. This acquisition enhances Tech Brands' ability to connect with its target audience across multiple channels and furthers its mission to elevate customers' quilting and crafting experience. About AccuQuilt. AccuQuilt offers quilters, fabric crafters, and retailers a premier line of fabric cutters, dyes, patterns, and embroidery downloads and accessories that help quickly and accurately cut, press, sew, and embellish piece shapes. AccuQuilt cutters are loved for increasing a quilter's accuracy and speed and allowing injured or disabled quilters to pursue their craft. AccuQuilt also offers quilters a wide variety of rich educational resources to enhance their quilting experiences. All right, here it is about Tech Brands. So Tech Brands is actually in Omaha, Nebraska. Interesting location. Tech Brands provides premier solutions to customers in a multitude of industries. The AccuQuilt, AccuCut, Custom Shape Pros, and Memory Stitch brands and product offering deliver an exceptional customer experience and quality products that save valuable time. Quilters, educators, craft retailers, paper crafters, stationery designers, as well as professionals within the medical, packaging, and advertising fields experience firsthand the unique experience created by Tech Brands' culture of innovation. Wow, that seems very very heartfelt from Tech Brands. So that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So it's just wild to me that so many sewing brands are owned by private equity firms. And we're going to get more into this. JOANN's is far from the only company that is owned by a private equity group. So, yeah. I don't know. My mind is kind of like, and that's the thing. I think we can get the impression that a lot of these brands are like these homegrown small businesses. And then you find out, they're actually owned by a mega corporation or something. Sort of like a lot of food brands. A lot of the popular food brands at the grocery store are all owned by the same 3 companies. So it's just sort of it's just an illusion that they're all different companies. Same thing with beauty. I mean, really any category. Beauty, a lot of these beauty brands are owned by the same company. They're not, no difference there. So I'm not super surprised that this is happening in the sewing, quilting, and crafting space, but it is, something you don't often think about. So I'm like, okay. All right, so let's take a look at, what's Tech Brands? What? And I was kind of pleasantly surprised about something about this private equity group, and I'll show you. All right, so we're going to get to the Tech Brands website here. All right, so this is the Tech Brands website. Yeah, I kind of just did a little cursor. I was like, who are these people? So this is Tech Brands, and it says, at AccuQuilt, AccuCut, Custom Shape Pros, and Memory Stitch, okay, this is the same thing that was on that press release. Okay, so here are the brands, and just keep in mind, so they just acquired Arrow Sewing, so that's not updated on the website yet. And AccuQuilt also owns June Taylor. So even though June Taylor is not listed here, they're included because that's under AccuQuilt. The Tech Brands companies and team are led by a group of experienced and energetic business professionals that each boasts important strengths in their respective areas of expertise. Our management team specializes in guiding our companies to explore and exploit. Did they really put that on their website? Exploit the best new business opportunities, setting the stage for continuous growth. I don't remember reading that when I was first looking at this website, but that is kind of interesting that they chose that wording. So here's the management team, and compared to the that Leonard Green and Partners group that owns JOANN, I did find it kind of refreshing. Okay, so a couple things. Notice the people on this management team. There's only 4, so there's a smaller group of people. It's not like 85 people like the LPG group. And I actually went through and looked at all of the bios for all of these. Notice also, this isn't all ladies. These appear to be all women on the management team. So this is Renee Thomas Jacobs, the Chief Executive Officer, Lynn Gibney, Chief Brand and Product Officer, Jill Repp, Vice President, Sales and Marketing, and then Robin Rogue, CPA, Vice President, Finance. And here's something I noticed right away when I was looking at the bios for the management team. And I actually thought this was a positive. I know you're like, can you find a positive with a private equity group? I managed to do this. So all of the people on the Tech Brands management team, when you look in the bio, they actually all craft in their own personal lives. So yeah, I did throw a little shade at the private equity group that owns JOANN because none of them seem to know shit about crafting. But one thing I noticed about this group is that they actually do. So if you look at Renee's bio, so she has a history with lifestyle brands since 1990. And then when you scroll down, check this out. She says, I enjoy cooking and entertaining with my family and competing in running events and obstacle course races. I am also looking forward to my new quilting hobby. So to her credit, at least she, at least is attempting to become a quilter so she can understand the brands that she is in charge of. I actually, I don't know Renee. Maybe I should reach out to them and see if they'll talk to me. I don't know. They probably won't, but that would be interesting to see because I'm noticing a stark contrast between the private equity group that owns JOANN's and the private equity group, Tech Brands, that owns these other brands. So this is Lynn Gibney, the Chief Brand and Product Officer. Now notice, her bio says, okay, she's been pretty active in the AccuQuilt brand. I am an artist so she says, outside of work, I am an artist at heart who can be found outdoors exploring with camera in hand or contemplating composition and color in one of my many unfinished quilting or design projects. So these are all creative people. They're artsy. They do crafting. And I was like, that's actually kind of, I don't know much about these people, but that's actually kind of nice to see. All right, this is Jill Repp, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Same thing. Look at her history. It's truly an honor to have been part of the creative industry for the past 30 years with a career focused on quilting, sewing, and crafting products. Maybe these people should be in charge of JOANN's. Because, again, I haven't heard about these other companies having, all these problems. So she is very involved with AccuQuilt and June Taylor. She does a lot with June Taylor. And you can tell from the bio that she knows, it's obvious from this wording that she has some knowledge of what she's involved in. So, and look at, my passion lies in creating excellent tools and notions that enhance the quilting experience. All right. I've had the unwavering support of my husband of 32 years and our son and daughter who have all contributed their ideas to a new product developments. Together, we enjoy activities such as golf, skiing, fishing, and cooking, cherishing the time spent with family. But she also has wording too. It says, she clearly, this is not the bio of someone that knows absolutely nothing about crafting. So Look at this. During my time at June Taylor, I've been dedicated to carrying on June's mission and her passion for developing cutting, pressing, and piecing tools that empower sewists to achieve professionally finished results in their projects. Fabric preparation and cutting are of utmost importance in the quilting process, and I'm excited to now offer a combined product line that will assist retailers and sewists in achieving quick, easy, and precise cuts, allowing them to focus on the enjoyable part of the quilt construction. I mean, that's cool. Now here's Robin. She's the finance person. Now let's see, I'm trying to remember if she had some crafting experience. Here's the thing. Her being in finance, she can do that even without obviously having a lot of crafting experience. She's a CPA. So again, but at least she actually tells you something about her that's real. You know what I'm saying? All of these bios, I feel like they're legitimate and they're like real people and they're not like a robot or something. So I actually thought this was kind of nice. Again, I don't know anything about this tech brands firm, but it seems like the people that are in charge here know a little something about this industry. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what do we think? What does everybody think about the difference between tech brands and then this Leonard Green and Partners company that owns Joann's? Because I just thought that was interesting. And they're actually not the only, there's so many sewing brands that are operating under some big corporate umbrella. So here's another one that I was not aware of until I just decided to look this up. So the brands like the Singer, so there's this Platinum Equity, yet another private equity group, and they operate a lot of the sewing brands as well. So I guess it's something called, I don't know, is SVP Worldwide just part of Platinum Equity? I don't know, but it says leading global sewing machine and accessories company. So it says company overview. SVP Worldwide accounts for more than 1 out of 3 consumer sewing machines sold worldwide through 3 iconic brands: Singer, Husqvarna, Viking, and Pfaff. I really did not know they all had the same ownership group, but they're all the same ownership group. Singer founded the world's first sewing machine in 1851 and has been synonymous with sewing for over 170 years. Products are sold across a network of sewing machine dealers, mass retailers, specialty shops, online retailers, distributors, and the company's 180 internally operated retail stores. The company is a global business that serves consumers in more than 180 countries. Operations include manufacturing facilities in Asia and Latin America, multiple R&D centers including a new state-of-the-art facility in Sweden, a software development center in the UK, and a global supply chain with distribution centers in all regions. Now that's definitely not some homegrown business. This is big business. And I want to also show you the SVP Worldwide website here, just with all of the brands here. So yeah, you can see Singer, Husqvarna, Viking, Pfaff, again, all the same company. I mean, this is a big chunk of the sewing machine business because these 3 brands are very popular, well known. I'm personally very curious about the Pfaff machines. I've never owned one, but I think they just look very cool. I'm curious. I only have a vintage Singer. I know I've heard the new ones are garbage. I'm not. Yeah, I kind of prefer the Brother and Genome's for the more entry-level stuff. I'm not really a Husqvarna Viking person. I used one at a sewing workshop. It just wasn't my vibe, so I was like, okay, whatever. But I did try out a Pfaff at a sewing convention or something, and I did like the machines. They are kind of expensive. I'm very curious about Pfaff, so I don't know, maybe that would be a future purchase. I don't know. So I was like, okay. So that's the thing I want to get across, is that a lot of these sewing brands they're not small businesses. They're not even medium-sized businesses. They are owned by these very large corporations and private equity groups. And that kind of explains a lot. When you're why are they making this business decision? It might be because, maybe they're just not that, maybe it's just kind of a top-down corporate thing. I don't know. So private equity groups, very prevalent in pretty much any industry, but the sewing and crafting industry is absolutely no exception.